Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to part 20 of where I show all my vinyl albums, and this is the last part of the miscellaneous section, and then I'll be going on to the female artists stroke bands in alphabetical order, and that should take about 4 or 5 videos. So we're down to U and UN. So the first one up is the Undertones and their debut album from 1979. Great album with Jimmy Jimmy and Here Comes the Summer on it, but a lot of other great tracks like Listening In, Family Entertainment, She's a Runaround. Really good album, but they reissued it later on in the year as this, and they added 2 tracks, the fantastic Teenage Kicks and the even better Get Over You. So this is probably the best version to get. Incidentally, the version of Here Comes the Summer on this version is the single version. I actually prefer the one on the original album, which is a little shorter, but still love both of them. And then we have their next album, Hypnotized, which is a good album, but not as good. It's got My Perfect Cousin and Wednesday Week on it. It's a decent enough album. And then they went all soulful with Positive Touch, and this is the one with Julie Ocean and the hit single It's Gonna Happen. Again, it's not a bad album. This one here is their last album, The Sin of Pride from 1982. Now they did reform in the 2000s with a different lead singer, but this is the last one with Fergal Sharkey, and this is the one with Chains of Love on it. Again, it's not bad, it's not brilliant. Then we get the Undertones West Bank Songs 78 to 83, the best of, and this is an absolutely fantastic double compilation, and as you can see it sort of mocks the Rolling Stones Aftermath album from 1966. Really good. Okay, Fergal Sharkey and his debut album Fergal Sharkey, and this is the one with a good heart on it. It's okay, it is pop. And I bought this one very cheap, Fergal Sharkey Wish, and again it's alright. There's nothing, no major hits I don't think off this. And I think of another Fergal Sharkey one. Yeah, I have, and this one is Songs from the Mardi Gras, and I didn't really enjoy this one at all. So all those Fergal Sharkey ones were extremely cheap. Okay, Urubamba. Now Urubamba, how I know of them is that they played with Paul Simon, and you hear them on the Paul Simon concert album from 1974. So it's sort of South American music, and it's actually pretty good. This was £1. Now this band I absolutely love, and my favourite band of the 21st century, Vampire Weekend, and this is their debut from 2008. It's got Oxford Come on it, A-Punk, Walcott, M79. Absolutely brilliant album. Slightly better is Contra from 2010, and this has got White Sky, which is the one that really got me into the band. Holiday, California English, Taxi Cab is absolutely beautiful. Ron Cousins, really strong album. But my favourite of theirs is from 2013, and it's Modern Vampires of the City. And this has got Obvious, Bicycle, Diane Young, which is great, Don't Lie, Worship You, Yeah Hey is absolutely fantastic. This is probably one of my top 30 albums of all time, actually. And then I thought this was a slight disappointment, but I played it recently, and this is from 2019, and it's Father of the Bride. And as I say, I played it recently, and I think it was really good. I think it's actually better than the debut album. Things like Harmony Hall, Hold You Now, which features your girl out of Haim, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it's Danielle. Rich Man, Married in a Gold Rush, My Mistake, We Belong Together, Big Blue. It's some of the songs are quite short, but it is spread over a double album, and it's a true double album, but it is very good. And then this one came out, and I didn't even realise this was out, and this is their new album, Only God Was Above Us, and this is a double album as well, but it's really only a single one because it's about 49 minutes or so. I don't know the tracks off by hand because I've only recently got it, but it is a very strong album. Vangelis, the best of Vangelis, which I picked up for next to nothing. It's okay. And then Chariots of Fire, which is, I just love that track. I really do. I think it is absolutely brilliant. And I put John and Vangelis in with Vangelis, and this is the one with I Hear You Now on it. And the album is Short Stories. This is the first issue of the Friends of Mr. Cairo, and this does not feature I Find My Way Home, which is a shame, but it's still a decent enough album. But the best of John and Vangelis does have I'll Find My Way Home, which is my favourite of all those. The Vapors, New Clear Days, with Turning Japanese on it and Use It 10. That's a pretty good album. Visage, and this is the one with Fade to Grey, the title track Visage, and Mind of a Toy. Really good album. Visage, The Anvil with The Damned Don't Cry, and Love Train. Really good. It's actually a better album. Visage, Fade to Grey, the singles collection, which is possibly all I actually need of Visage, but I still like those other two albums though. Clifford T. Ward, Home Thoughts, another cheapy one, and I think this is the one with Gay on it. I'm not 100% sure. And then we have Clifford T. Ward again, Mantelpieces, and this is the one with Scullery on it. So the other one does have Gay on it, which is a very good song. Scott Walker, The Best of Scott Walker, which is the only Scott Walker I have. Lights of Cincinnati, Joanna, Jackie, If You Go Away. It's a decent album. I'm not a huge fan of him though. I know he's got a very good voice, but I'm not huge in the baritone voice. The Walker Brothers, No Regrets, and I love the title track. The rest of the album I just don't think is all that great. The Waterboys, and this is a mini LP of their first album, and it's okay. It's got a girl called Johnny on it. It's not bad. It's a little bit like Toya whenever she released her first single, which was 6 tracks on an EP, and then she extended it to make an album. This is the Waterboys, The Best Of, and this is good. This has got Fisherman's Blues on it, The Whole of the Moon, and The Brilliant, and A Bang on the Ear. Paul Weller, Modern Classics, The Greatest Hits. Very good album, and there's a double album. The 16 tracks are on the first album, and the second album is a live album. I wish the 16 tracks had been on the 2 albums and just forgot about the live album, but not to be. Wham, fantastic, and it's not fantastic, but it does have Bad Boys, Wham Rap, Club Tropicana, and Young Guns Go For It. You know, it's good fun. 1983. Wham, Make It Big with Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, Freedom, Everything She Wants, and I think Careless Whispers on this as well. Again, it's okay. I do prefer Wham to the George Michael solo. Barry White, The Collection, again really smooth, with You're the First, The Last, My Everything, and the Billy Joel one as well, which is Just the Way You Are. It's okay. It very rarely gets played. Now this is a band that I like and sometimes I can't stand, and I've quite a few of their albums, and it's the White Stripes. This debut I was never that keen on. I bought it because I got a lot of store credit, and I thought, right, I'll get it, but it is a bit bluesy for me. Better is this one here, which is, and I can't even remember the name of it. This is the one which is very difficult to say, but the White Stripes fans will know what it is. But this is a better album. This has got Hotel Yorba on it, which I absolutely love. The White Stripes Distill, or I can't even say that, I don't know how to pronounce it. But yet again, this is, you're pretty good looking for a girl on this. Truth doesn't make a noise. Again, these are okay, but I really do have to be in the mood for them. This one I do like, and this is Icky Thump. I think this is actually their last album, and the title track's very good, and I really don't know the rest of them, but I have this in CD as well, so it's been played a few times, but again, I'm not in the mood for the White Stripes these days. This is probably all I really need, and it's the greatest hits, and it's a double album, so that should have been enough for me. Stevie Wonder, Music of My Mind, not a bad album, not overly familiar with it. Again, some of these were extremely cheap. Stevie Wonder, Talking Book, which is a good album. This is the one with I Believe, When I Fall in Love with You It'll Be Forever, that Art Garfunkel covered. Stevie's version is every bit as good. And You're the Sunshine of My Life. This one is Inner Visions, again not a bad album. And Living for the City and Higher Ground, I think, are the two big ones off this. This one here blew me away when I was doing best albums. I think this is 76, and it is Songs of the Key of Life, and this is really good. Sir Duke, isn't she lovely? It's a really good double album. I never realised how good it was. I should really revisit those other Stevie Wonder albums. Stevie Wonder, The Secret Life of Plants. I bought this very cheap, played it once. I don't even think I got through the whole album. Hotter Than July, which is a good album. It's got my all-time favourite Stevie Wonder song with Master Blaster jamming. Has Happy Birthday on it. I ain't gonna stand for it, and the slightly sickening lately, but it's still a good album. This is put in here, The Woman in Red, music produced by Stevie Wonder, and this has got I Just Called to Say I Love You on it, amongst other things. Reckless Eric, 10" of his debut album. I don't have the 12" of it. Yes, it's good. I wish I had the 12" still. And then The Wonderful World of Reckless Eric, which is another very good album. And this has got Walking on the Surface of the Moon on it. Take the Cash, which is fantastic. The Final Taxi, I Wish It Would Rain. It's a good album. But this is brilliant. This is Big Smash. Now this is a double album. The first album is the new album from 1980 with a pop song on it, and Break My Mind, which I love, and Excuse Me, Strange Towns. But the second album has got sort of like a best of. I'm not going to say greatest hits because he never had a hit in his life. With I'd Go the Whole Wide World, Take the Cash, Let's Go to the Pictures, Hitting Miss Judy is so infectious. What a song. I Need a Situation, Recognize Cherie, Veronica. Brilliant album. Right, X and XTC debut album, really good with Radios in Motion, and notes that science fiction on this. Unfortunately, it would have improved it if it had been on. And then their second album, Go To, which is very similar to the first, and it's okay. It's the one with Battery Brides on it. And then we have Drums and Wires with Making Plans for Nigel. And the brilliant Scissor Man, which I absolutely love. Helicopters, another great one. This is a very good album, but for me their best is Black Sea, with the big hit singles Sergeant Rock's Gonna Help Me, Respectable Street, although it wasn't a hit, Generals and Majors and Towers of London. Very good album. And then we have English Settlement with I'll put it this way, with Senses Working Overtime, Ball and Chain, double album, really good. Waxworks, the singles 77 to 82, another great album, just all the singles. Got that actually at the time, and with it you got a free album called Beeswax, which has some of the B-sides, and some of those tracks are really good as well, like Don't Lose Your Temper, I thought was fantastic. Mummer from 1983, and this has got Beating of Hearts, which I think is great, and I think the singles off this were Great Fire, which I never liked at the start, but I do now, Wonderland, and Love on a Farm Boy's Wages. And then we have The Big Express, and this is the one with All You Pretty Girls on it and Wake Up. It's a decent album, but it's the weakest since Drums and Wires. Then the Dukes of Stratosphere, 25 O'Clock, which is almost like an extended EP, 6 tracks on it. 25 O'Clock, very good song. It's just XTC pretending to be like a sight band. Yeah, Skylarking, which is one of fans' favourites. Yeah, it's a good album. I love the Summer's Cauldron going into Grass, which is probably the best thing off this. This version here actually has Dear God on it, which wasn't on the original album. This is a reissue, but it is a strong album. The next Dukes of Stratosphear is Sonic Sunspot, which again is a proper album this time, and it is enjoyable. Oranges and Lemons, which is a decent album. I wasn't all that keen on that at the start, but this is the one with the Mayor of Simpleton on it, which is very, very good. And then we have Nonsuch, when this is a reissue as a double album, and this has got the Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead on it, which is excellent. Bungalow, I think is very good as well. I think that's a Colin Moulding song. This one is Apple Venus. Yeah, good album. It does have one song I absolutely detest, and that is Your Dictionary. And then the last XTC, I believe, is Wasp Star, which again is a little rockier than the previous album, and this has got I'm the Man Who Murdered Love on it. Again, decent album. Again, XTC, you need to be in the mood for them. Yazoo, Upstairs at Eric's, brilliant, with Don't Go, Only You, Midnight, which is gorgeous, Bad Connection, which is catchy as hell. Yazoo, You and Me Both, and this is the one with Nobody's Diary on it, Walk Away From Love, and the brilliant Mr. Blue. Yes, Close to the Edge with the title track. Yeah, it's okay. It's not really my cup of tea, but I do quite enjoy it. Yes, and Relayer, and I think the cover of this is the best part of it. I'm just not really a prog fan. Yes, Yesterdays, and I think this is like a compilation of their first two albums, and I believe this is the one with Paul Simon's America on it. Extremists, a local band, and from 1980, and this has got Stay the Way You Are, which Paul Young covered when it was part of the Q-Tips. In fact, the Extremists covered the Q-Tips whenever they toured Northern Ireland. Now, people know I do not like Neil Young, but I do have a Neil Young album, and I've got Trans, and I don't actually mind this because his voice goes through a vocoder, and I think it actually improves it. So there's a couple I actually do like off this. Is it Computer World and Sample and Hold, or a Computer Age, sorry, and Sample and Hold are pretty good songs. It's not actually a bad album. Paul Young, No Parley, with Come Back and Stay, Wherever I Lay My Hat was #1 hit here, Love of the Common People, and he does a pretty dodgy version of Love Will Tear Us Apart, but it's okay. Paul Young again, and this is A Secret of Association, and this is the one with Every Time You Go Away and Everything Must Change, and there's a couple other hits off this. Tomb of Memories was a hit, and I'm Going to Tear Your Playhouse Down, very, very 80s in sound. Paul Young again, Other Voices, and the reason I bought this is because I love his version of Softly Whispering I Love You, absolutely love it, even though I prefer the original. And he also does Oh Girl, which I love as well. The rest of the album is not great, but really all I need for Paul Young is From Time to Time, the singles collection, which lists all the singles. We're getting very near the end here. Zed, Frank Zappa, Hot Rats. A lot of people were talking about it, so I thought I would buy it. I played it 4 times, and each time it got harder and harder to listen to. I don't like it. End of. The Zombies, Odyssey and Oracle. When I first played this I wasn't overly impressed, but I have to admit this is a really good album. You know, whenever it's doing, I'm not too sure what year this is it 1968? And I played this a few times and I was blown away by it. It's really, really good. And the last two from the same band, I wonder who it could be. ZZ Top, Eliminator with Legs, Give Me All Your Lovin', TV Dinners, and Sharp Dressed Man, and Got Me Under Pressure. It's a good album. but not as good as their follow-up, and that is Afterburner. But it still has Sleeping Bag on it, and I think that's the only one. Rough Boy, I think, was the single. So that's the miscellaneous section of my record collection. The next one I'll start off alphabetically with the females, and as I said at the start of the video, it should be about 4 or 5 videos. Okay, that's me for now. All the best now. Bye bye.